The quicksand and the pull to help out. The rescue that could drown both. We have all seen someone sinking. Perhaps it is a loved one trapped in addiction, a friend drowning in debt, or a family member paralyzed by despair. Our first, most human instinct is to rush in, to feel their pain so acutely that we jumped into the quicksand beside them, hoping our presence, our sympathy, can pull them out. But quicksand has a terrible property. The more you struggle against it directly, the deeper you both sink. The well-intentioned rescue becomes a double tragedy. Today we explore the vital difference between the sympathy that cripples and the compassion that liberates. We will learn to identify the quicksand of codependency and enabling, and we will forge the pole of genuine self-reliance, the real tools that offer solid ground for both the helper and the help. This is not a philosophy of cold detachment, but one of clear-eyed, effective love. To understand the quicksand, we must first distinguish between two often confused forces, sympathy and compassion. Sympathy says, "I feel sorry for your pain." It is a passive, emotional state where we share another person's state of mind, often to our own detriment. While it can signal care, sympathy alone is ethically neutral and can become a negative, even coercive emotion. It creates a separation, a you in trouble and a me feeling bad about it from a distance. There is a tinge of voyeurism in modern sympathy. We witness the pain, often through media, and feel a sense of distress without the ability to enact real change. This corrodes our mental well-being and paralyzes effective action. Then we have compassion. In its true form, it's entirely different. As researcher Dr. Barbara Fredrickson has found, cultivating positive emotions like compassion builds key personal resources: cognitive, psychological, social, and even physical. Compassion is active. It seeks to understand another's suffering and then actively seeks to relieve it, but from a place of stability and strength, not shared despair. The difference is stark. A sympathetic torturer, to use a brutal analogy, will put a gun to your child's head to make you talk, sharing your distress. A compassionate one will put the gun down. Same situation, same tools, but a fundamentally different interpretation of emotional data. When sympathy, rather than compassion, drives our actions, we often fall into the trap of codependency. Codependency is a learned behavior, often rooted in childhood experiences within chaotic or unpredictable households, where love and validation were conditional. It manifests as an unhealthy pattern of relating, where one person relies excessively on another for their sense of self-worth, while simultaneously enabling the other's destructive behaviors. The codependent person, often called an enabler, is like the person who jumps into the quicksand. Their actions, driven by a need for validation and a fear of abandonment, include taking on responsibilities, cleaning up the other person's messes, managing their finances ruined by addiction, or performing their duties. Making excuses, lying to an employer, family, or friend to cover for the destructive behavior, shielding the individual from the natural consequences of their actions, providing financial support, funding the very addiction or lifestyle that is causing the harm under the guise of helping them get by. Denial, minimizing the severity of the problem, convincing themselves that it's not that bad. These enabling behaviors are a frantic struggle in the quicksand. They feel like love and sacrifice, but they are ultimately a recipe for shared destruction. The enabled individual never hits the necessary bottom. that might spur change, and the codependent loses their own health, happiness, and identity in the process. The cycle continues with both parties sinking deeper and deeper. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece and Rome understood this dynamic intuitively, though they used different language. Their philosophy was built on the cornerstone of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. The renowned Stoic teacher Epictetus, who was born into slavery, began his teachings with this very principle. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, our reputation, our office, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. The Stoic would argue that another person's choices, their addiction, their emotional state, these are not within our control. To act as if they are, to tie our well-being to their decisions, is to invite perpetual frustration and misery. The sympathy that drives enabling is a refusal to accept this fundamental truth. It is an attempt to control an external that we ultimately cannot, draining our power and preventing us from tending the one thing we truly can control, our own judgments and actions. If sympathy is the quicksand and enabling is the frantic struggle within it, then the pole is the tool of self-reliance that allows for a true rescue. It is a long, strong, and allows you to provide support while keeping your own footing on solid ground. This pole is not a single tool, but a collection of practices and disciplines that build genuine resilience and capacity for both the helper and the person being helped. The first and most tangible part of the pole is physical. Our bodies are the vessels through which we experience the world, and a weakened vessel cannot withstand storms. Nutrition as foundation. In holistic recovery models, nutrition is central to repairing the physical damage caused by stress and trauma. A nutrient-rich diet helps rebuild energy, repair tissues, and regulate mood. Omega-3 fatty acids, for instance, are shown to promote brain health and reduced anxiety. This isn't just about eating well. It's about actively rebuilding the biological foundation of resilience. Exercise as embodied discipline. Exercise is a powerful tool for physical and emotional healing. It releases endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators, reduces stress, and promotes better sleep. More importantly, sticking to a fitness routine fosters self-control and a sense of achievement, the very muscles of self-reliance we need to develop. Research confirms that self-control enables better resilience to life's challenges, allowing us to stay focused and tackle problems as they arise without being distracted by negative thoughts. The role of sleep. Science has clearly shown that our capacity to resist temptations, moderate emotions, and exert willpower is severely depleted when we are sleep deprived. A consistent sleep routine is not self-indulgence. It is a non-negotiable maintenance of our basic cognitive resource. The second part of the pole is mental. This is the realm of discipline, emotional regulation, and the cultivation of a mind that serves us rather than torment us. The practice of self-regulation. Self-regulation is the amount of control we exert over our behavior and emotional responses. When we have a low capacity for it, our emotions get the better of us. Techniques to build this muscle include implementation intention, planning ahead for tempting scenarios. For example, if I am offered a dessert, I will ask for herbal tea instead. This conserves willpower by pre-making decisions. Regular meditation, the practice of sitting with thoughts without acting on them, is a direct workout for self-control. It builds the capacity to allow emotions to arise without being hijacked by them. From self-pity to self-compassion, it is crucial to distinguish between the toxicity of self-pity and the power of self-compassion. Self-pity reinforces a sense of victimhood, bringing hopelessness and inaction. It narrows our perception to only see loss and damage. Self-compassion, as defined by researcher Christine Neff, is a nurturing attitude. It involves treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend. It acknowledges difficulty without dwelling in misery. A simple self-compassion mantra can be, "This is a moment of suffering. May I be kind to myself in this moment? May I accept myself as I am?" This shifts the internal narrative from "poor me" to "this is hard and I will actually care for myself through it." Knowing about the pole is not enough. We must learn to use it in order to be able to help the person in the quicksand or ourselves in the quicksand. This is the integration of these tools into the fabric of our daily lives, transforming philosophy into practice. The first practical application is boundary setting, which is the action of standing on solid ground while extending the pole. A boundary is not a wall, it is a gate that you control. It is the clear communication of what you are and are not willing to do, based on the Stoic principle of focusing on what is in your control. Setting a boundary might sound like, "I love you and I will not give you money for alcohol. I hear that you are struggling and I cannot solve this problem for you. I have faith in your ability to find a solution. It is painful for me to watch you make these choices. I will be here to support you when you decide to seek help, but I will no longer make excuses for your behavior." This is not cruelty. This is the highest form of compassion. It allows the other person to feel the full weight of their consequences, which is the only thing that can truly motivate change. True compassion is expressed not by jumping in to fix, but by learning to listen. This is how we offer the pole without jumping into the quicksand. Empathy, as opposed to sympathy, is the ability to share someone else's feelings and see things from their perspective. Empathy fosters connection. We can exhibit more empathy by listening in specific ways. Listen without judgment. Give the other person space to own their emotions without telling them what they should feel. Listen with intention. Offer your full individual attention. No phones, no distractions. Listen without advice. Do not take away their power by immediately telling them what to do. Let them talk and come to their own conclusions. If they ask for advice, ask them what they think they should do first. This kind of listening communicates, "I trust you to find your own way. I am here as support, not a savior." Forging the pole is a daily commitment. It is the repetition of small acts of self-control that build the strength for larger challenges. Start small. Choose one small manageable act of self-control to practice daily. It could be making your bed, a 5-minute meditation, or refusing a second cup of coffee. Make the goal SMART. That means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And keep a daily record of your progress. Hook into existing routines. Attach a new self-reliance practice to an existing habit. For example, practice 3 minutes of deep breathing after you brush your teeth in the morning. Embrace the discomfort. The path of self-reliance is often uncomfortable. It means feeling the pain of saying no, the anxiety of not fixing someone else's problem, and the vulnerability of caring for yourself first. This discomfort is the signal that you are growing. As the Stoics would say, the obstacle is the way. The quicksand of sympathy and codependency is a seductive trap. It feels like love, it masquerades as sacrifice, but it ultimately leads to the drowning of two souls. The alternative is not cold indifference, but the powerful active force of true compassion. The pull that we have forged from the physical discipline of a healthy body, the mental resilience of self-compassion, and the spiritual wisdom of ancient traditions is the tool of this true compassion. It allows us to extend help from a position of strength and stability, not jumping in the quicksand. The most profound rescue we can ever perform is the rescue of our own self-reliance. When we stand on the solid ground of our own being, we become a beacon and true source of strength for others. We stop handing out painkillers that mask the symptoms, and we instead offer the real tools for healing. We stop jumping into the quicksand, and we learn finally how to extend a pole to help someone else truly save themselves from the quicksand. The work is difficult. It requires us to measure twice and cut once, but the result is a life of freedom for ourselves and for those we love. A life where we are no longer victims of circumstances or another person's choices, but the conscious architects of our own destiny. You have felt the pull of the quicksand. You have now seen the pull. The choice to reach for it is yours.